Hi guys, sorry it seems like an age since I last did one of these for you guys, but I just wanted to talk to you today about some exciting gemstones or things that make gemstones exciting. So it's particularly about light today that I wanted to kind of focus on and talk a little bit about. And it's very often, it's the rare gemstones or the big three that are considered to be the ones that are the most exciting. In some of those situations is correct, but equally there's some other really exciting gemstones out there. So the one that I want to talk to you today about is alexandrite. So this is a natural gemstone. They don't naturally form very large at all, and they are nicknamed emerald by day, ruby by night, or a phenomenal gemstone, and it's because of the change of lighting that can make the gem look so different. So naturally the most desirable colors for your alexandrites is this kind of blue-green color, so it's almost petrol, this particular example I've got here. And when we excite the natural elements inside the alexandrite with UV light, you can see in this example how the change of color is really affecting this particular stone. So with alexandrites, it's actually vanadium that's one of the chemical elements inside the stone, and when we excite it with the UV light, this is why the color change. Now there are other gemstones that actually change color or change appearance as well. Chromium is one of the main elements that is either a color causing element within a gemstone. So in the case of rubies, very often you'll get a beautiful ruby, and if they're from, I don't know, Burma, very often they actually contain chromium as opposed to vanadium that's in the alexandrites. And this chromium, when you excite the element inside the ruby, you can see how the ruby then takes almost a glow. It looks like a coal ember within a fire. And this is something that makes rubies really quite desirable to some people, because when you see that out in daylight, because sunlight has got UV in it as well, you can almost see like this inner glow from a ruby, and that's the thing that can make a stone really exciting. That's not to say that all rubies contain chromium. Some rubies actually are coloured by iron, for example, and iron doesn't really do anything within a gemstone. So I've got a few rubies here, for example. Some of these glow with that lovely UV and have that lovely ember to them. And then I've got a few here that are coloured by iron and they don't glow at all. They just show as red. So not all rubies have to have this chemical element to cause them to be really exciting. You get some beautiful gemstones that just naturally have this excitement inside them. Now, because rubies and sapphires are part of the same gemstone corundum, you can find in certain stones the chemical elements that actually cause the colour in them. It can be chromium, and when it's really quite strong, so the likes of this purple sapphire, for example, it possibly, without the chromium, would have been a blue coloured sapphire, but it's such a predominant presence of the chromium within it. In this particular example, this really shows up really very nicely and excites the element within the stone, as you can see, and has a lovely red glow about it. But this is a beautiful purple sapphire, and you don't find many of those naturally anyway, because they predominantly form more in the blues. Can form in pinks. You can get pink sapphires that range in a whole colour spectrum from baby pink through to kind of fuchsia, and some do contain this chromium element, not all. So this is just something that I have a lot of fun with gemstones. And even your blue sapphires. Now, because chromium can be a colour causing agent, like we've seen in the ruby and the purple sapphire there and the pink sapphires that we've got, Sometimes, although blue sapphires, like this beautiful matched pair of pear-shaped sapphires that we've got in this earrings, one actually has got chromium in it. And if it was strong enough, this may have caused the stone to be a colour change stone. But in this case, it's only really noticeable with my UV torch, unfortunately. But it's quite cool to be able to see that a matched pair of blue sapphires, one has chromium in it, and it doesn't make it a colour change or a purple per se. It just shows up when I play with the torch, and you can get to see how different that actually looks within the stone. So not only do these have one that does and one doesn't, I've got a whole selection of sapphire rings here. They're all very classic 3-stone pieces. And there's even 3 of these sapphires that actually all display this kind of fluorescence about them. And that's what it is. It's the fluorescence inside the stone, and it can show that purplish burgundy colour to it. And just makes stones really quite unique, and it's a way of us identifying as gemologists sometimes country of origin from where a stone has come from, or it's just a really cool thing to note inside your stone. It can make yours more personal because you know a little bit more about it. It's not just a piece of jewellery that you wear, it's something that you personally might have been shown by someone like myself or another salesperson that knows a little bit more about gemstones, and it can just make something that little bit more exciting, a little bit more personal for you. Now, in the example of that ruby ring that we were looking earlier at, it is actually a certified stone as well. So it's done by the GIA. They normally do diamonds, but in this case, it's actually a GIA certified ruby. They haven't done any testing for country of origin, unfortunately, but I would expect it possibly a Burmese, to be fair. As much as everybody thinks that sapphires are the only stone that comes from Burma, you can get some really beautiful rubies as well. And just a really, really beautiful ruby for its colour and its size, being just under 2 carats, 1.81 carat stone. That blue sapphire that we were looking at in the 3-stone at the bottom there is also another certified stone. This one's done by a different company, not GIA, but even they have not indicated on the certificate that that colour has got the presence of chromium in there. It's just really cool that I've been able to kind of go through our collection and find it, and I can see, as I say, if I excite the molecules within the sapphire, you get to see that lovely pinkish purple glow, and it's not there permanently. And so it's just kind of cool, and as I say, it's something that excites me about gems in general, being that I've studied them for some time. And obviously for me as the designer here at Lumbers, I love playing with gemstones in this state where they're all loose, as much as seeing them in final pieces of jewellery. It's just nice to know that you've got something that's potentially that little bit different, a little bit unique, and just really quite exciting. So if you want to know some more about gemstones, or you've got some questions about anything, or you just want to know a little bit more about what you're buying, don't be afraid to ask. Let's have a look at some bits and pieces. And if you want to see some of these phenomenal gems that we've got here, pop in store. Let's see what we can do for you as an exciting project, or sell you as a beautiful piece of ready-made jewellery ready to go.